Hey guys, it's Jeff with San Diego Seed Company. We are back in the garden in November. November is, okay, we say this every month. It's the best month in the garden, but I really do like November because it is the thick of cool season. You can plant any cool season crop except for one. So stay tuned. I'm going to show all the cool season crops that you can plant this month, except for the one at the very end. I'll tell you what not to plant. You're going to have to wait till December to get that. Before we get into all the crops for November, please don't forget to like and subscribe. Send this channel to your buddy. You know that friend that you're like, man, they'd be a good gardener. They just don't know it yet. Send this video to them. Maybe they'll start gardening and you guys can have something to bond over. So let's get right into it with cruciferous crops. In November, broccoli, cabbage, and cauliflower. You're definitely going to want to start these. For me personally, I'm already starting my second round. I started my first round of these in the end of September, actually October 1st, and then the middle of November, about 6 weeks after, I'm going to start my second round, put them in a different place in the garden, and have these plants grow in conjunction with my first round, just so I get harvest at a different time. It's called succession planting. If you don't know, got tons of video and content on the website, in our calendar, on YouTube about succession planting. So remember, don't just plant one round of these crops. If you've got the space, you've definitely got the time in zone 10. We've got long growing seasons. Do a couple rounds of cruciferous. One thing you'll notice is not here is Brussels sprouts. Brussels sprouts are also cruciferous. We just don't get cold enough in zone 10. Maybe if you get into 9, 8, 7, yeah. I've tried these 3 years in a row. I couldn't get them in the ground soon enough. They just have a long growing season, so no Brussels sprouts in zone 10. But if any of you guys out there have success, we'd love to hear some tips on how to do better with Brussels sprouts. Okay, so next up on the list for November is kale, lettuce, and greens. When I'm talking greens, I'm talking about mustard greens. Here we've got spinach. I put that under greens. You see we've already got our spinach in the ground. I put these in the ground in October, but it's about time to start another round if we're talking succession planting. I've also got a beautiful tray of lettuce here. We've got the Mayan Jaguar, Lola Rosa or Loya Rosa. I don't know, I have to ask Bridget how we're supposed to say that. Lollarossa. Then, of course, the Great Lakes. I grow this every year. It's one of the most delicious lettuces that you can grow. In November, it's perfect for greens. These are really fast growing, so unlike the cruciferous where you may only get 2 rounds, you can get 3 or 4, or man, if you're lucky and plant them close enough, 5 rounds of lettuces and greens. So make sure you're planting those in November. So next up, we've got 2 plants that are similar in shape, but a little different because this is a bean and this is a pea. Literally any pea that you can plant, snap peas, shelling peas, snow peas, you're going to want to start them in November. They've got bigger seeds, so we don't recommend starting them in cells. You can if you want to. The only case I would ever do that is if I just didn't have the space ready in the garden and I wanted to get a head start. I'd start peas inside maybe 4 weeks before I was able to plant them out. And the seeds are big, they're vigorous, they can bust up through big pieces of wood or whatever's in your garden. Go ahead and plant seeds directly. And also with fava beans, the reason this is confusing is all the other beans, pole beans and bush beans, are spring crops or warm season crops. Fava beans are the only bean that is a cool season crop. And pro tip, if you want a really good nitrogen fixer, let's say you've got a brand new plot of land and you want to get some nitrogen, some really good stuff into that soil, plant fava beans, chop them down before they fruit, right after they flower, and till that up into your garden. You're gonna not only get some nutrients from the greenery that you till in, but all beans are nitrogen fixers. It's gonna take nitrogen from the air with magic. I think they might use Voldemort or evil, some sort of thing, to get the nitrogen from the air into the soil. I still don't understand it, but it's true. So beans, nitrogen fixers, peas, get them in November. Moving right along with the cool season crops, we've got onions and garlic. If you guys are viewers of the channel, you'll know that we just planted garlic right here. You might remember this tag that we put down to mark where we put our first one in. It's only been a few days, so we don't have any shoots coming up, but we did get our garlic garlic in the ground on Halloween, so anytime in November. I wouldn't wait too much later than November because it's such a long growing crop that you're going to want to get it in probably this month. October, November is really your best bet. Same can be said for onions. Bulbing onions are a 150-day crop. That's 5 months. So if you don't start them in time, the summer is going to roll by and it's going to start getting cool again, and you're not going to get the onions that you want. So get those in November. And please stay tuned because we've got a video on bulbing onions coming out later this month where we show you how we start them in cells, how we separate them, put them into the ground. And we're south of the 37th parallel, which is kind of the guideline of when you grow short day onions. If you're north of the 37th parallel, you're going to want to grow long day onions. Here in San Diego, we're south of that, so we're going to do short day. Depending on where you are, short day versus long day, you can look that up for yourself. Okay, next up is this chunk, which are all the root vegetables. They're all cool season crops. We're talking beets, carrots, and radishes, one of my personal favorites. The reason I'm over here is I want to give you guys a little tip if you are starting these. We do recommend to direct sow these crops. Now it's a little different than why we said to direct sow these, because the seeds are big. These seeds are not big, but with root crops, when transplanting, you're going to damage that taproot, which if you think about it, that taproot is what is turning into the actual food that you're going to eat. So you don't want to damage that. So we recommend direct sowing, but we also preach mulch. Mulch, mulch, mulch. The mulch keeps the soil cool. It keeps the water from evaporating. But when you're planting these seeds, you're not going to want to plant into the mulch. So just as a reminder, make sure you're getting that mulch back. You're not tilling, but roughing the soil up. You want a really nice, even plot of soil, and make your furrow, plant your seed, and then you might even want to sift the soil on top of it just to make sure you're not getting big pieces of wood on there. You definitely don't want this on top of a carrot seed. It's not going to come up, and if it does, it's going to have to grow around it. It's going to get leggy. So make sure that you're moving that soil back. I even will take a board after I sow them, and I'm going to put it on top of the soil. That's going to do two things. It's going to keep the roly-polies and bugs off of it. It's going to keep moisture in, and it's going to remind me that I actually planted them there so that I can take a look after maybe 3 days. I'm going to come out every morning, lift this up. As soon as I see any kind of start coming up that's germinated through the ground, I'm going to go ahead and obviously take the board up, because it's not going to go through that. Then I'm going to baby my plants, thin them to the correct spacing, and in a few weeks, in radishes case, 3-4 weeks, you're going to have nice roots to eat, to put in your salads, whatever else you want to do with them. Okay, I forgot to turn on the smell-o-vision on my camera, but if I did, you would smell beautiful aroma of rosemary. One thing I love about herbs is every time you accidentally bump into them, or like the wind blows, you get this beautiful scent that's going all throughout the garden. If you guys have grown herbs, you know what I'm talking about. But I'm here because the last set of cool season crops we're going to talk about for November are herbs. So we're talking all herbs except for basil. I'm sure there may be a few more, but basil is the main herb that you're not going to want to grow in November, but you are going to want to do parsley, rosemary, the list goes on. You can, pretty much any herb that you see on our website that you can buy seeds for, you're going to start in November. The last part of this video is something that you're actually not going to grow in November. I teased it at the very top, but that is celery. So celery, you're going to want to wait until December. One of the main reasons is celery just loves really cold, damp temperatures. So if you start it too early, in zone 10, you might get some warm 80, 85 degree days, sometimes 90, God forbid. So wait on that celery, but everything else on this board, go ahead, feel free to plant in November. We're talking both starting inside or in seed trays outside, or if you have starts that you bought from the store, November is a good time to plant anything that we talked about today. And last but not least, if this board that my wife just slaved writing over isn't enough information for you, which I don't think it is, don't forget our new 2024 calendars are out now. If you haven't gotten one yet, this is the year to do it. You guys will not believe how much information is crammed into this calendar. We've got links to videos, we've got succession planting guides, we've got tasks to do in the garden. Literally everything you would need to do as a gardener is packed into this calendar. So check it out. It's on the website. We'll link it below, and go out and buy that and get planting this fall.